What is the meaning of life? Do we have free will? Would you pull the lever? I think I would. From the Greek philosophia, meaning a love of wisdom, philosophy has been around for a while now. It's the study of knowledge, reality, existence, and it informs us on how to live our lives. Sounds simple enough, right? So today you're going to learn what philosophy is all about, so you can start exploring what I think is one of the most beautifully interesting subjects known to us. If you're new here, this is part of my How to Learn series where I break down a different subject for you and give you some actionable next steps so you can start exploring any topic. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button as every week I break down a new topic. Speaking of beauty though, the first area we're going to take a look at is aesthetics. It is quite literally concerned with the nature of beauty and taste, and the term aesthetic has come to designate a kind of experience or value. A lot of aesthetic philosophy concerns itself with subjective qualities about the world, and this has led to some obvious difficulties in the field. Exploring the realm of the ugly and the elegance, the sublime, sensuous enjoyments, does often come down to one's point of view, and it goes deeper than simply what we find appealing and what we don't. If you are interested in learning more about aesthetics, you can start by exploring aesthetic universals, aesthetic ethics, the intentional fallacy, aesthetic judgment, as well as the broader philosophy of art. Often compared to analytic philosophy, continental philosophy usually refers to philosophers and their ideas from the 18 and 1900s, and usually from Europe. For the most part, examples of continental philosophies focus on politics, history, self-consciousness, freedom, desire, and gender. If you'd like to explore this specific brand of European philosophy, you can start by exploring deconstruction, hermeneutics, phenomenology, existentialism, structuralism, and psychoanalytic theory. As the name implies, Eastern philosophy covers the ideas and philosophies that emerged out of Asia, specifically South and East. It includes Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, and Indian philosophies. For some great places to start exploring some of the ideas from these regions, you can take a look at Orthodox schools, modern Indian philosophy, Buddhist philosophies, Mohism, Confucianism, legalism, Taoism, Sikh philosophy, modern East Asian philosophies, and heterodox schools. Epistemology studies the theories of knowledge. Its focus is on the nature, origin, and scope of knowledge, as well as epistemic justification, which is quite literally how we know what we know. It's a fascinating subject within philosophy, and some of the ideas that you can explore, aside from knowledge, belief, truth, and justification, include the regress problem, rationalism, skepticism, the value problem, the Gettier problem, a priori and a posteriori distinction, empiricism, and pragmatism. A topic of much debate and many interesting ideas, ethics and morality are both concerned with what is right and wrong and help us determine how we act. The ways in which they do that are different, although similar. Ethics and morality are distinct from each other. Morality helps us determine for ourselves what our own values and beliefs on right and wrong are, whereas ethics is given to us by an external source, such as a workplace's code of conduct or the Ten Commandments. The field of ethics includes postmodern ethics, role ethics, pragmatic ethics, state consequentialism, intuitive ethics, meta-ethics, virtue ethics, hedonism, deontology, ethics of care, anarchist ethics, and applied ethics. On the other hand, morality covers politics, psychology, anthropology, descriptive and normative morality, realism and anti-realism, evolution, neuroscience and religion, all of which can be sources of one's own morality. Logic. No, not that logic. The field of logic in philosophy covers our reasoning skills and helps us make good, sound arguments. This can come in handy when we're debating hot, controversial topics, but it's also really useful to us when we're forming our own opinion of the world. If you'd like to look more at your own reasoning and deduction skills, you can start by taking a look at some logical fallacies, non-classical logic, predicate logic, propositional logic, arguments, modal logic, and deductive reasoning. Metaphysics is a broad but exciting topic that deals with some very big concepts. It tackles the very nature of reality, as well as principles on being, identity, change, space and time, and possibility. Now, if you're as confused as I initially was, some examples of the field of metaethics include metaphysical cosmology, cosmogony, determinism and free will, necessity and possibility, space and time, ontology, identity and change, causality, mind and matter, and natural and social kinds. A study of the philosophy of language is going to take a look at the nature of meaning, intentionality, reference, the constitution of sentences, learning, and thought in general as they relate to language and language users of the world. More specifically, you'll want to take a look at vagueness, formal versus informal approaches to language, the nature of language, social interaction, meaning, composition and parts, the mind and language, reference, truth, problems of universals and composition, and translation and interpretation. The philosophy of mathematics studies the assumptions, foundations, and implications of mathematics. Who would have thought? If you are not like me and you do have a knack for maths, you can check out social constructivism, embodied mind theories, intuitionism, formalism, mathematicism, logicism, conventionalism, structuralism, and fictionalism as they relate to mathematics and arguments for and against realism. This area of philosophia is concerned with all things relating to the mind, our mental properties, consciousness, as well as the relationship between the mind and our physical bodies. Some great examples that will be of interest to you if this field is of interest to you include the mind-body problem, the philosophy of perception, and the nature of thought. Our world is becoming more and more political, and a grounding in philosophy is going to help you make sense of everything through the noise that is politics. The philosophy of politics takes a look at property, justice, liberty, rights, as well as laws and their enforcement. Now, philosophy and religion go together like two things that are often seen together. The philosophy of religion examines themes that are common in various religious traditions and practices, as well as taking a look at the nature and significance of religion itself. It takes a deeper look at religious language, the concept of an afterlife, religion and ethics, faith and reason, ultimate reality, knowledge and belief, religious experiences, miracles, and diversity and pluralism. The philosophy of science studies the foundations, methods, and implications of science. It's concerned with what qualifies as a science, the reliability of scientific theories, and the very purpose of science. If you'd like to dive more into the philosophy of science, some great places to start include the demarcation principle, coherentism, the purpose of science, values and science, the a priori a posteriori distinction, and the descriptive normative distinction. Now, when you're exploring philosophy, you're going to come across a lot of different beliefs, concepts, and ideas. But you can also take a look at the individual philosophies themselves. There are an incredible amount of philosophies out there. You can sort them by time period or region if you wish. And we've covered a few already within the fields that we've taken a look at today. But a few more you can take a look at include nihilism, rationalism, existentialism, and a personal favorite of mine, stoicism. As well as the specific philosophies, the lives and works of individual philosophers can also be incredibly interesting and insightful to learn about. I'll run you through some now, and you can just comment below the correct pronunciations after I inevitably butcher some of them. We've got Bertrand Russell, Jean-Paul Sartre, Confucius, Karl Popper, Friedrich Nietzsche, Immanuel Kant, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Marcus Aurelius, Sun Tzu, René Descartes, David Hume, Ludwig Wittgenstein, Thomas Aquinas, and Niccolò Machiavelli. A fantastic resource to help you with your philosophical journey is the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. There is a ridiculous amount of free information on this website on everything philosophical you could ever want. I'll pop a link in the description below. And if this information helped you out at all, make sure you let YouTube know by giving the video a like so you get recommended similar videos. Let me know what topic you'd like to learn about next, and I'll see you in the next one.